I used to think my mentors don't have problems, and I was dead wrong. It just seems that way because they have more power and skills to deal with them, to just handle them. And the best always make it look easy, but it doesn't mean it is. And in this video, I want to break that illusion of competence that you probably have, because you look at the people who are higher than you in a given domain and you think that they are in a totally different universe, that you are not even close. But I want to break all of those false patterns right now and enable you to see reality clearly and realize that these are just normal people. They also have the same problems, they also have the same worries, they also have the same traumas or difficulties in their life as you do, sometimes even more. And you just have this illusion of competence about them that keeps your judgment clouded, and it keeps your progress slower, because if you think there is this huge distance between where you are and where you want to be, you're going to move slower. Because if you knew that you are 3 to 4 months away from a completely different life, you would go after it with all your power, with all your energy, with all your focus. So my goal is to remove that illusion of competence and enable you to get there in the next 3 to 4 months, to get there to the level that you've been admiring, that you've been pedestalizing for a long, long time, because it's not that far away and you're just a few steps behind them. Now, I remember the first time I noticed it is maybe about 5 to 6 years ago, and there was a guy who I really admired. And looking at his life from the outside, looking at his cars, looking at his investments, looking at his business and lifestyle, I thought that he is just operating in a completely different universe than I am. But that's because I didn't know him that well, to be honest. I just saw the first impressions, right? So people are good at keeping first impressions, at the showing the good stuff to the world, which we'll talk about in a moment, about how people are able to curate and change the information that they give to you. But I remember thinking to myself and feeling miserable because I thought that I will never be able to get there, that it's something impossible for me. Because this guy honestly made it look easy, just looking from the outside, from like just an observer who doesn't know the details, who isn't on the inside. He made it look easy, and the best always make it look easy in sports, in business, in speaking, in life. The best people always make it look easy, but it doesn't mean it is. This is a key lesson here. But then when I actually learned more about his story, about what he had to go through, about the problems that he's facing currently right now, about the actual work, the intensity that he puts in, the hours, the just relentlessness, going after one thing over and over and over again without stopping, that's where I had this belief break. So this is an actionable step for you. If you have someone who you think is more successful than you are, especially if they are in a close environment, so you are able to meet them, you are able to speak to them, it will be very valuable for you to get to know this person better. Just because you will notice that they are not superhuman, they are not aliens, and they just have a set of beliefs, a set of skills that they are utilizing to be where they are at. So do this. Find the most successful person in your environment, or at least think about the most successful person in your environment, and try to spend more time with this person. Try to get to know this person better. Try to be around them in whatever way you can be around them. And this will be a huge belief break, and it will make what you thought was impossible, what you thought was out of this world, just reality, just something normal. And you realize that these people also need to take showers, they also need to brush their teeth, they also forget to pay a bill, they also forget to buy chicken for dinner, or they also are running late, or they also don't know what's happening in their life currently, or they're going through chaos or a harder period. So this is going to make it much more real for you, as it made for me. And from that moment on, I realized that the people that I thought were smarter, more successful, better, in a higher position actually weren't. I just like had this belief in my head, and I put them higher than myself, which made my self-esteem lower, which made me smaller in my eyes. But reality of the situation is, you're going to get as big as you see yourself in your eyes, right? If I don't know if you've ever seen this image of a lion, like small lion looks in the water, and there's a big lion in the water. You're going to become as big as you see yourself. You're going to become as successful, as confident, as free as you can see yourself becoming. So this comparison will actually be really hurtful for you. But the thing is, comparisons always narrow things down. So I remember that I was comparing myself to this guy, to let's call him John, on only one area, which was money at the time. But comparisons should never be just one-dimensional. You should only compare a multitude of factors that you care about. The 4 factors that I care about are always, and this is what we build here on this channel: health, wealth, relationships, and happiness mindset. That's the last one, right? So you need to go through all 4 to just actually be able to compare a person to person, not just one of those factors or like one subset of a factor. Now, there's a story, and I heard it first time on Chris Williamson's podcast, that people look at Tiger Woods, the golf player, and they always say, oh, I would love to have his life, right? I'd like to have the fame, the notoriety, the cars, the women, the freedom, the craziness, and all of that. But what people don't hear is that Tiger Woods started playing golf when he was 4, and his dad forced him to play golf, so they played golf together. And when he was training with Tiger, what happened is he was saying that he basically racially abusing him, telling Tiger that he will never be good enough, that he will never be successful, that he will be a failure forever, that they will never respect, the other people will never respect him because of the color of his skin. This is the thing that his dad was telling him to the point where they had a safe word. Safe word meaning that if Tiger said this word, his father would stop, and that word was enough. Now the really interesting thing here is that Tiger never said enough. He never stopped, so he took on the abuse from someone who was there to love him all the time, and he created this monster within himself that drove him to that achievement. But then, would you actually take all his life? Would you actually trade your current life for his life, moment for moment, and that relationship that he had with his father, and the pain that he experienced, and the actual just wasted moments, right, that he wasn't able to enjoy because of the trauma, because of the low self-esteem? Think about it like that. Next time you try to compare yourself to someone, would you actually take every single element of this person's life and change it for your life? This will make the comparisons much more real, because you only want the result, right? You want the cake when it's baked, but you don't want the dirty kitchen that you have to clean afterwards, right? Because when you are baking something, when you're cooking, you have to clean the kitchen afterwards. But you just want the dinner, you just want the result, you don't want the dirty kitchen. But it's not how things work. Not unless you cheat, right? Not unless you order dinner, right? But it's not the same. It's not the same quality of ingredients. You don't have the same confidence in what goes into it, right? So If you want to get something, there are certain things that you need to survive, and you can't want the things without wanting to pay the price. Another story like that is the story of Michael Jordan. People always say, oh, I would love to play basketball like Michael Jordan. I would love to have the same amount of money as Michael Jordan. To have this worldwide persona, this brand, right? To have this drive, this competitiveness. And I think what people don't realize is that Michael Jordan is probably miserable all the time. Because if you beat him in something, if you win with him, he will not speak to you until he beats you in this thing. Whether that's playing ping pong, whether that's playing billiards, whether that's playing chess, whatever, video games, he needs to win in everything. And this probably makes his existence all about playing domination games. Am I better than this person? Am I worse than this person? Am I doing well enough? And so, like, think about that level of competitiveness. I'm not saying it's good or bad, because you can design your own life. What I'm saying is, you cannot want to have the success that Michael Jordan has, and you cannot compare yourself to Michael Jordan unless you would take into account all the factors that impact him, all his personality traits, all the situations or the stories that he had in his life. And so this makes comparisons more real, right? So just try to analyze the person's life carefully, with details, with traumas, with bad events, with the price that they pay for being who they are, because there is always a price. You just don't get to see it at first hand. And here's where we get into the illusion of competence that we spoke about before, right? So first, the comparison part, I want to take care of that because I think that it's natural for us to compare ourselves to other human beings. But the second element of that, the illusion of competence, this comes from the fact that when you watch other people, you only see them in certain situations. You only probably see them at their best when they are at work, when they are outside, when they are with other people. And you also judge them based on the information that they give to you. But you see yourself in every terrible situation that you are, in every terrible state that you are. So you see yourself when you don't want to get out of bed in the morning. You see yourself when you're catastrophizing and making up all these negative scenarios in your head, how everything is going to fall apart and you're going to fail. You see yourself being angry at your environment without any big reason. You see yourself failing and trying again with the loss of hope. But that failure, like, you see it, and a lot of the times you fail in private, right? You fail the habits that you wanted to start. You fail the businesses that you had ideas for but never actually executed. It's all of those things. So you see your own life, first person, POV, perfect, all the time, with all the worst situations. But you only see other people's finished product, the thing that they want you to see, right? Sometimes you're able to see crack, but most of the time it's only the things that they want you to see. So it's like, think about this. Like, if they make a Hollywood movie, they shoot hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours of footage, probably, right? And then from these hundreds of hours, they are able to like put in like an hour together, or 2 hours, or 1 hour and 30 minutes. What you are doing is you are watching these hundreds of hours and then you're saying, oh, this movie it's shit, it's terrible, I don't want to watch it. But you see other people's finished movies after post-production, after editing, oh, this is a great movie, I love it, right? But you don't get to see their hundreds of hours. You only get to see your hundreds of hours of failed footage that you need to edit, that you need to cut out. So you have this illusion that they are somehow better than you. But it's not true. It's based on a false promise, because you just experience more of your reality than their reality. And you only see things other people decide to show you. And I wrote this thing that I want to read to you today. I wrote it in July after a very difficult week that I had to go through. I had some legal things going on. I had to protect myself in a lawsuit. I had my very important, crucial time in my business that required a lot of effort, enthusiasm, and creativity from me. And I sat down and I wrote out 5 lessons. And one of those lessons is about leadership. It's about being a leader and what leadership actually is. So let me read this to you. Leadership is what they see, not what you feel. One of the most inspiring leadership stories I've ever heard is that of Sir Ernest Shackleton. In 1914, he led the Endurance expedition across Antarctica, a feat no one had ever achieved. He's now remembered as one of the greatest leaders in history. This is how we remember him. But what struck me wasn't just what he did, it was what he wrote. Outwardly, he was unshakable. He gave rousing speeches. He kept morale high. He projected calm and certainty, even as their ship was crushed by ice. But privately, in his diary, he wrote about fear, doubt, crushing responsibility. He didn't know if they would survive. He feared failure. He feared death. And yet, every single day, he showed up strong. Because that's what leadership required. That's what being a leader is. It's not about how you feel, it's about what you choose to show. And if you follow the 3 actionable steps that I will lay out to you today, you'll be able to become that inspiration to other people. You'll be able to see that it's possible to be the person you admire currently, to be the person that you feel like is in a different universe, and you'll become a leader. You'll be someone who is able to show to the outside world what they want to show to the outside world. Now, the actionable steps for this podcast. First one, quit making comparisons at all. Pointless. When you're comparing yourself to other people, you're wasting time that could be used in building yourself. Very hard to do also. I'm not free of comparisons either. So if you do make comparisons, take the whole picture. Take everything. The story, the traumas, the bad events, the pain, the family relationships, the romantic relationships, kids, no kids, sacrifice level, take all of that into account and then compare, right? Don't try to, as we spoke about it today, don't try to have a dinner without the mess in the kitchen, because there is always a mess in the kitchen with the dinner. Second one, stop pedestalizing other people. Everyone is human, scared and anxious, and no one is playing at 100%. Your mentors are just like you. This is true. All the people that you see on TV, on social media, all the people that you think are special, they aren't. They're just humans. They are anxious, scared. They don't know what will happen in the future. They don't know whether it will work. They don't know whether what they are doing makes any sense. They also have depressive days. They also need to take a shower and so on. So stop pedestalizing other people. And then number 3, realize that everyone is fighting a battle. They just make it look easy on the outside. And if you look closely, everyone is struggling with something. Everyone is being tested. You just don't see the test because they don't show it to you, but everyone is tested in some way. You are tested in some way right now. It might be your belief that's tested. It might be your confidence that's tested. It might be your patience that's tested. But don't be mistaken. You are going through a test. I'm going through a test right now. And how we will handle that test will dictate the rest of our life. So stay strong. Keep handling the test that you're handling. Don't compare yourself to other people. And if you do, compare their whole situation to your whole situation. And don't put them on a pedestal. They are the same as you are. Now, if you want to chat with me one-on-one and get more insights on how to build life without limits and increase your personal freedom and work with me directly, join my free community. It's the first link in the description. See you there. Bye-bye.